Who's the best player in college football? Tell me who you think down below, but I'm going to make the argument today that it is Brock Bowers, Georgia's tight end, that will be a junior this season. I imagine that it'll be his last season in the red and black because he is an NFL talent, and I assume he's going to leave early. And not only is he a good player, but a good teammate. Recent reports say that he's not accepting certain NIL money, so that his teammates have more opportunity for money. So if all that's true, then he's definitely a good locker room guy too for an NFL team. But while he's in college, now that there's a handful of players that are going, including Jalen Carter, people like Will Anderson, Bryce Young, is Brock Bowers now the guy on top of the college football world? Is he the best football player in the sport? That's my argument for you today. Brian Coe from Dog Post here, debating who the best player in college football is. There's some other names. Caleb Williams comes to mind. He's certainly a superstar. There will be defensive players. I think Ohio State's defensive end, JT something, will elevate this year. LSU's got an outside linebacker I think is going to elevate this year, and Harold Perkins. There's a handful of guys. Marvin Harrison Jr. might be the best player in college football. I think he's definitely top 5 if he's not number 1. But my argument is Brock Bowers, and make sure you're checking out Double Dogs. There's definitely going to be pictures of Brock Bowers, and some of them might be the ones behind me. All right, that is going to be a surprise for you. You can also check out Dog Instruction, and make sure you're going to the Red Zone. It will be available in the Red Zone, and I just picked up some swag from there a couple days ago, some national championship swag that I really like, that retro sweatshirt. It's awesome. It's a cool sweatshirt. So if you want that or anything else, they've got all sorts of national championship gear. Brock Bowers, I made the argument, and the playoffs helped. But I made the argument, I think at the beginning of the season, that his numbers would be worse because I think that there were so many weapons on the offense. He had more catches and more yards. He had 6 less touchdowns. Rushing wise, he had 2 more touchdowns than he did last year. He had the 1 rushing touchdown last year. He had 3 this season. Look, he's a guy that could have 1,500 yards, right? This is a guy that could have 1,500 yards, but he only has 63 catches for 942. So, what does a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. get? If Bowers gets 63 catches and he gets 56 his freshman year, Marvin Harrison Jr. got 77, so he got 10 more catches than Bowers did this season, and he averaged 1.4 more yards per catch. So, and remember, he is an X receiver. Bowers is a tight end, but he's more of an offensive weapon. Look, and this is no hate on Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not top 5. He's top 3. Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of the 3 best players in college football. Positions. So if I had to choose right now, I'd say my top 3, I think, would be Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Brock Bowers. Order that however you want. There are other players that will emerge, and I can change my mind, but I've seen a lot of these guys. I've seen a lot of these guys in person. I have not yet seen Caleb Williams in person. I may this year. Who knows? I think that USC is certainly a playoff team. I would predict that Georgia and USC are both going to make the playoff. And Michigan. I don't know who my 4th is, but I'm working on my preseason predictions, and we're far away from even the true preseason. But Bowers does everything that is asked of him. He blocks. He can run. He's a tight end that they design sweeps for. When does that happen? It doesn't happen. 6'3", pushing 6'4". I don't know if he's a true 6'4". I know he's listed as 6'4", but I think he's a little smaller than that. The 230 is probably true. This guy's cut. He's quick. He can make a juke move. He can put a stiff arm on you. He can high point a football. He can run routes. He can block. I've been in here and I've said this before about Brock. There's nothing that he cannot do on the football field. All right. I think the only thing I haven't seen him do is throw the ball and tackle somebody. And maybe a kick return. So maybe we'll see some of that this year. But everything that he's been asked to do, he's done it well. I don't want to jinx a football player. Knock on wood, I've never seen anything bad happen when Brock Bowers does the football for the Georgia Bulldogs. All right? He's made a lot of great plays. Some of his highlights are just unreal. right? I think about his UAB catch where he has the dude has an angle on him, he just blows by him. I think about the Georgia Tech long touchdown where he gets it in the seam and then he splits a few defenders and no one touches him. I think about the South Carolina catch where he gets the ball, bounces someone off of him, kind of jukes another guy out, takes off, and then no one touches him. Those are all long touchdowns. I think about Kent State this year. He gets a handoff on a sweep, gets the edge, and he's gone untouched pretty much. I think about South Carolina. Moss is a guy, high points the ball in the corner of the end zone. Alabama SEC Championship 2021 took four dudes and they couldn't tackle him and he gets to the end zone. I mean, he does this all the time. Florida, he bobbles that ball to himself. It's a Stetson Bennett highlight, but it's way more of a Brock Bowers highlight. That was a bad ball from Stetson. So he scores in all these different ways. He blocks. I was watching a blocking highlight tape of him yesterday, and he does make the blocks. He's not Darnell Washington, but he makes the blocks that are needed of him. You don't see that kind of speed from a tight end very often. I think it's interesting. Kyle Pitts was a better prospect, right? If we're talking about like NFL prospects, Kyle Pitts is the unicorn. He's this. He certainly is. Bowers, I don't know. I think he does more than Kyle Pitts does. I think he does a little bit more. So if you want to like look at the landscape of college football this season, I thought he was the Mackey Award winner, and I thought he was the best tight end in the country. Dalton Kincaid was really good. Michael Mayer is really good. There were guys that were really good. I thought he was better than them. So it's hard in football to compare positions, right? It's not the same as like basketball or like hitters in baseball or pitchers where it's really easy to compare. With football, it's like, well, all these positions do really different things. But with Bowers, it's definitely not something I've seen before from that position. A player do all of that and do it at that rate and at that success, at that level of success, it's different. He is different. All right. I got to keep Matt and Dean on the slang. I have to keep them up with that. They're always asking me about it. Don't let them tell you otherwise. And Matt asked me, what is better than calling Brock Bowers him? And I was like, I don't know, but he's better than him. That's for sure. He is. He's a top 3 player in college football. I'm arguing that he's the best. I know quarterback is the most valuable position. They get the ball in their hands almost every single play, right? Unless there's a wildcat formation and they're not under center or in the shotgun. So it's hard. I think Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in college football. Now, listen. This is for 2023, all right? I hope that I made that clear. Like, Bryce Young is gone, Williams is gone, Jalen Carter's gone. Some of these top guys are gone. So I think Caleb's the best quarterback. I think that he's a phenomenal prospect. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best wide receiver. It's not close. I'm interested to see who the best running back will be because my 2 favorites are gone, and Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. So I don't really know there. Offensive lineman, it's going to be interesting. And then it'll be interesting to see who the best defensive player in the country is because the 2 best defensive players are out, right? In Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. I think there's a lot of young talent in the country as far as defense goes. Who's going to step up? I do think Harold Perkins is one of those guys. I think JT, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the guy on Ohio State. I think guys like Malachi Starks, Michael Williams can throw their names in the hat. There's a lot of good football players. I really like Alabama's freshman coming in, Caleb Downs, the safety. There's tons of guys. Are any of them better than Brock? I don't know. I think he might be the best, guys. Let me know what you think down below. And make sure you're clicking on Double Dogs. Trust me, you're not going to miss out on that. See you at the site dogpost.com. Thanks for watching.